These guys named Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels published a theory that capitalism will be overthrown by the proletariat, aka the working class. He envisioned a society where resources were shared and controlled collectively rather than privately. He motivated people by saying, "Workers of the world, unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains." This was the start of a shift in beliefs and lots of revolutions against the monarchy, eventually leading to the unification of Italy and Germany. This Prussian minister named Otto von Bismarck was like, "Hey, let's unite all German-speaking nations under Prussian leadership. I have this great plan to make everyone fight each other instead of talking it out." His strategy is being known as blood and iron. Eventually, 3 battles broke out against Denmark, Austria, and France. Bismarck successfully won these battles, and after defeating Napoleon III, the German nations were united under Prussian leadership, and Emperor William was crowned the first emperor of Germany. Germany became a strong nation which shifted the balance of power and in the future contributed to causing World War I and World War II. In 1917, a revolution ended the Romanov dynasty with Tsar Nicholas II. The Russian Revolution consisted of 2 phases, the February phase and the October phase. The February phase was where the riots broke out and the army eventually joined, forcing Tsar Nicholas to abdicate, and a provisional government took over. Then the October Revolution happened. Vladimir Lenin seized power after gaining lots of increasing support and successfully staged a bloodless coup, seizing lots of government buildings and strategic points. Then a new government was formed, composed mostly of the Bolsheviks, replacing the provisional government. This caused the formation of the USSR, which led to the Cold War, and also the formation of NATO. After lots of fighting during World War I, the Treaty of Versailles was formed to establish peace on June 28, 1919. The Allies were angry at the damages because of German aggression and demanded reparation, ultimately blaming them for World War I. This caused Germany to face massive restrictions and have a smaller nation, having to pay a huge amount for damages and be demilitarized. This caused Germany to be very resentful and made their once powerful economy very weak. The frustration making it easy for rulers like Hitler to rise, leading to the Holocaust. The distribution of land also made allies like Japan and Italy bitter, as they didn't get the land they were promised, leading them to be enemies in the next World War. In 1933, Hitler was the chancellor, later becoming leader in 1934, establishing a totalitarian rule, meaning people had to completely submerge themselves into the state. He made Germans believe that they were the Aryan or master race. He gained lots of power by using propaganda and sparking fear into people. He eventually started the Holocaust, which was the mass extermination of the undesirable race, mostly consisting of the Jewish people. Hitler's main goal was to reunite German-speaking nations that were taken by the Treaty of Versailles and regain the power and glory they had prior to World War I. His beliefs and influences caused World War II, which led to the killing of millions. Hitler was trying to expand Germany, and the Allies weren't really stopping him. They basically said, just don't touch Poland and you're good. So Germany made a deal with Russia. They said, "Hey, pinky promise you won't attack us when we invade Poland." And Russia was like, "Fine, we're interested in Poland too, and we don't want to fight you." This led to the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, a deal where Germany and Russia agreed not to attack each other. Then on September 1st, 1939, Germany attacked Poland, and the Allies finally stepped in, kicking off World War II. But Russia didn't just sit back. They invaded Poland from the other side, and Poland was split in half. The invasion of Poland was a huge deal because it's what marked the official start of World War II. After World War II, Europe was in ruins, and nobody wanted those events to reoccur again. Tensions started to rise with the Soviet Union, which was spreading its influence across Eastern Europe, taking lots of land. The Western countries got nervous, and in 1949, the US, Canada, UK, France, and 12 other Western European nations decided to sign the North Atlantic Treaty, creating NATO, which meant that if one member gets attacked, the others in it come to help. This is a way to stop invasions and preserve a nation's freedom. NATO was a key part of the Cold War, keeping the Soviets in check and made Western Europe feel a lot safer. And over time, more countries joined the North Atlantic Treaty. After World War II, the US and the Soviet Union were in a big rivalry called the Cold War. The Cold War didn't consist of any physical fighting, but many competitions between the two nations, one of them being the space race. In 1957, the Soviets launched Sputnik, the first satellite in space. The US panicked, wanting to prove their dominance over the USSR, invested more into science and technology, creating NASA. Then there was the competition of getting to the moon first, which the US managed to accomplish before the USSR. Despite the competition, the space race helped create many things like satellites, global communication, and GPS, leading to lots of technological advances for Europe. When Gorbachev took over the Soviet Union in 1985, Europe was split into East and West, containing lots of tension. Gorbachev wanted to preserve the Soviet Union as its influence was decreasing, so he implemented new ideas: freedom of speech and fixing the broken economy, all to save the falling Soviet system, but his efforts weren't actually successful. Across Eastern Europe, people started to protest because of the freedom of speech, and communist governments began to collapse. In 1989, the Berlin Wall came down, removing the division between East and West, and Europe was finally reunified after decades of division. So the Soviet Union fell, becoming Russia, and eventually the Cold War ended. Some European countries decided that instead of fighting one another, they would instead help each other. So in 1951, they started with the European Coal and Steel Community to make war materially impossible. It went through many processes and eventually became the European Union in 1993. European countries work together on trade, laws, money, and many more. The European Union has 27 members, a single market, and a shared currency, the euro, that most of them use. No passport are needed at borders, there's free trade across the countries, and shared values. The European Union ultimately helped turn former enemies into allies and helped Europe become a more unified nation after the Cold War.